Chodesh Tov Rabbatai. We find in the book, the Ben Ish Chai, in the second part, second year, it says over there that there was a custom in the city of Baghdad where the Kala, the bride that would get married, she would have the first night with her husband, the relations that they had, was in the light. They wouldn't shut off the lights. They would allow them to have intercourse with the lights on. And the question is, how is that? Because it says in the Gemara Masech Psachim that a person is not allowed to have relations with his wife when there are lights on. What does that mean? That there's direct light coming from that room that they're in, or also from a different room. If there's direct light coming on them, even if it's moonlight, by the way, right? It says the Gemara. Even if you have direct moonlight, that means that the moon is directly by the window, and it's bringing in light, even though the light of the moon is not so strong, but nevertheless, it says there that a person is not allowed to have relations with his wife like that. What's the reason why? So it says the Gemara over there, if a person does that, has relations with his wife, when there's a light on them, direct light coming on them, the children will turn out to be epileptic, God forbid. Right? What does that mean? They're going to have seizures, this epilepsy, which is a very bad disease. It causes all kinds of issues and problems. People can just faint in the middle of their job, or in the middle of their prayers, or in the middle of their whatever they're doing, and they have seizures and they can't get up, and they have to wait for a while till they get back up. It's not an easy thing to deal with. Nevertheless, says the Gemara, that if a person wants to avoid that, the children should be like that. So a person should make sure that he has relations with his wife only in the dark. What does that mean? There's no direct light coming on them. So therefore, even if there's a small candle in the room, which is lit, even though the light is not very great from the candle, nevertheless, since it's direct light coming on them, so therefore they're not allowed. Says the Ben Ish Chai, but the first night, they're allowed to do that, according to the custom of Baghdad. What's the reason why? So we have a rule, right, in the Gemara, Masechet Yevamot, that the woman never gets pregnant from the first relations that she has. If she's a virgin, we're talking about, right? Because there's over there the hymen, which is blocking the progress of the sperm. So it's not allowing it to shoot in there. It has to shoot in. Otherwise, if it doesn't shoot in, she can't get pregnant. So therefore, what happens is that since it's being blocked by the betulim, the hymen, so therefore, it's not possible to get pregnant from the first intercourse. Even though we find in the Gemara actually that there is a way to go around that problem, but most people don't know how to do that, right? You have to be kind of an expert to be able to go around this issue. The first time usually doesn't work. So therefore, the custom was in Baghdad that they would allow them to have the relations the first night with the lights on. So says the Ben Ish Chai, they certainly have what to rely on because of this reason. Because the first time that the woman has relations with her husband, she can't really get pregnant. And he brings us several issues there from the Kabbalah as well, Kabbalistically, why that's allowed to do that, so forth and so on. But nevertheless, we find in the book Taharat HaBayit of Moreinu Rabbeinu, Ramban, Rabbi, he writes over there in the first chelek of Taharat HaBayit, he argues with the Ben Ish Chai regarding this. Why is that? First of all, he brings several sources that argue with that, whether it's the Maharshal, Yam Shel Shlomo, or we have the Torah Lishma, and also several other books that also say that the first night as well, when a person is having relations with the first night of his marriage, he should not have the lights on, and the halacha is that it's forbidden. So the question is why? Why is it forbidden? We just said, right, that she can't get pregnant from the first night. So the answer is, Rabbi, that there is also another Gemara, Masechet Nida. Over there it says, right, that a person is not allowed to have relations with his wife also when there's sunlight, when it's daytime. So what's the reason why? It says the Gemara over there, there's a different reason it brings. The reason is because he may find something on her body which is not right pleasant there, something, some kind of blemish or some kind of a bad, something which doesn't look attractive there. So therefore he may get disgusted, whatever, and this may cause him to dislike his wife, or all kinds of problems with their relationship or whatever. So therefore, right, this is also another reason why we find in the Gemara over there, Masechet Nida, that a person is not allowed to have relations with his wife when the sunlight is on him. So they say the poskim that this also applies to the candlelight as well, right? So therefore, there's according to that connection that they make, the link that they make between the sunlight and the candlelight, we have to say that also there's another reason why a person is not allowed to have relations with his wife when there's candlelight or moonlight coming in, direct moonlight coming into the room. The reason is because he may find something in her, some kind of blemish in her body or in her appearance, and it may make him disgusted, whatever. So therefore, right, says the Rabbi that the Ben Ish Chai, right, we should not rely on his ruling regarding this. Why is that? Because we have also another reason why a person is not allowed to do that. The sole reason is not because of the issue of epilepsy. So therefore, he says that even on the first night, a person should be careful, right? The Khatan should be careful to have only relations with his wife when the lights are off, right? And there's no direct light on them coming in from anywhere. If there's a little bit indirect light from somewhere, whatever, and it's still basically dark, so then it's okay. That's not really a problem. The real problem is when you have direct light coming on them, whether it's a candle, whether it's a moonlight, whether it's a sunlight, whatever it is, right? All these things make a problem for us regarding this issue. So therefore, the halacha is, right, coming out from this discussion we just had, that let's say a person is with his wife, and let's say she can't get pregnant for some reason. Let's say she's already past menopause, she's already too old to get pregnant, or because she's already pregnant as it is, she can't get pregnant again, or let's say she's nursing, whatever, and the likelihood of getting pregnant is not so great. So all these things, right, nevertheless, even though she can't get pregnant in these kinds of cases, nevertheless, it doesn't mean that they can have relations when the lights are on. Because according to the second reason that we brought, because you may find something unattractive there, something right disgusting there. So therefore, because of that reason, they should never have relations when the lights are on, some kind of direct light is coming on them, and therefore they should always be careful to extinguish the lights that are in the room. Regarding Shabbat, by the way, since a person can't put out the candle on Shabbat, there's a problem with that. Like extinguishing the candle is one of the forbidden labors on Shabbat. So therefore, what can a person do? He has two options. One is to go into a different room, right? Or the other option would be to make some kind of partition between them and the candle. And this way, right, once you make the partition, you have to do it in a permitted way on Shabbat. There are permitted ways to make partitions. So if you can do that, right, to separate between the candle and them, some kind of partition, at least 10 tefachim, right, has to be. Right? What does that mean? About 80 centimeters high, this partition. All the more so if it's even higher than that, it's even better, right? The more the merrier, as they say. So therefore, a person has to be careful regarding these things. So as a general rule, Rabbi, if a person wants to have good children, always should be careful, right, to have the lights off when he has relations with his wife. Baruch Adonai Leolam, Amen, Amen. Chazak u'Baruch Chodesh Tov.